Alrighty, welcome back to the episode of Inside Lines. My name is Jett. Hope we're having a wonderful day. Yeah, we got a couple stories that we need to discuss. Formula 1 and NASCAR. It's not waste any time and jump right into it. If you haven't already, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more content, and comment down below your thoughts on any of the two stories I'm going to be discussing in this video. First one we're talking about, like I said, with Formula 1 and its Drive to Survive series. Now, it's no secret that DTS has been very involved in Formula 1 exploding not only in the world but especially in America. I believe the past weekend's Grand Prix race from Bahrain had like 1.3 million viewers on ESPN, which was the second most watched race in US history since 1995 in Brazil. That is incredible. It even beat out IndyCar on network television, and Bahrain is in the morning. So F1, of course, is riding high. Large wave of momentum these past few years, and it seems as though it's not going to stop anytime soon after. But it has received some criticism, the DTS series, due to its over-dramatization of certain events, misplacing team radio, and especially faking rivalries, like what they did this season when they faked a rivalry between Ricciardo and Lando Norris. Even some drivers have pulled out, like Max Verstappen pulled out of the series after season 2, not doing any interviews. Even Sergio Perez has questioned him potentially doing any future seasons with the series due to, again, them not using any of the footage that he provided when they were in Mexico last year. And again, like I said, just misplacing audio and faking stuff overall. It has drawn a lot of criticism, and Formula 1 has taken notice of that. Their CEO stated that he will be talking to the people at Netflix that produce the series to talk to them about calming down the situation and focusing more on realism and not trying to fake stuff, and try to over-dramatize everything. He said, quote, "There is no question that a Netflix project has had a very successful effect. In order to ignite the interest of a new audience, a tone was used that in some ways focused on dramatizing the story. It's an opportunity, but I think it needs to be understood. We talked about it this weekend in Bahrain at a meeting with the teams as well. A driver who refuses to participate because he feels he is not being represented in the right way is not being constructive. So a dialogue is needed to understand how he can be included in a format that he feels is correct. We will also talk to Netflix because it is necessary that the story does not move away from reality. Otherwise, it no longer fits. It's a topic that we will address together with the drivers. We have to make sure that a project that has generated such exceptional traction has language that continues to appeal, but without distorting the image and the meaning of the sport that we live with every day." So yeah, again, I think with the DTS series, it's obvious, like I said, had a huge impact on the growth of Formula 1 in recent years. But again, with the criticism, again, it has to do with over-dramatizing things and faking things. I don't blame Netflix for trying to add some drama to the program. I think that's completely normal. I think everyone expected that. You have to have a little bit of drama to make a series worth watching. But there is a fine line between dramatizing and faking stuff. And they have crossed that line numerous times. There has been moments where there are even videos of people just absolutely ripping DTS apart about things that were misplaced, things that don't make sense, just overall not telling the full story. And I think it's a good thing that F1 had a meeting with the teams and drivers, because if it comes to a point where drivers no longer want to be a part of the series, then you have to kill the series, because without the drivers, then what are you going to do? If the drivers aren't going to give you access, if they're not going to be allowed to be filmed or give interviews, well, then what are you going to do? Talk about the team principles? You can only talk about Toto and Christian Horner for so long. You can't, you have to include the drivers at some point in time. And if none of the drivers want to be involved in it, then you're going to have to kill the series. Simple as that. So I think it's a good idea for Formula 1 and the CEO to really sit down with the teams and the drivers and with Netflix to say, hey, we understand that if you want to, dramatize some things, that's fine, but make sure you keep it within the frame of what we're doing. Okay, don't go out there faking rivalries, misplacing team audio so that you can help present the narrative that you want to push, and instead just present what's happening. Just let the viewer decide for himself. Just play out what's taking place and let the viewer decide on whatever opinions, come about from the series. Don't try and push an agenda or push a narrative to make it more interesting. And finally, we talk about RFK Racing. And finally, we're talking about with NASCAR. Now, earlier in the year, or actually before the season began, we talked about how with the introduction of the next-gen car is going to bring in harsher penalties. You know, with NASCAR's new business model to make sure that no one tries to get out of this business model of keeping the cost low so that no one can get a real advantage. With that, you're going to need to implement some harsh penalties to ensure no one tries to break the rules. Also, fans in general have been asking for the teams to be punished when they break the rules. You know, not have you find $10,000, but you still keep the win and everything like that. Like, no, if you break the rules, you're going to have harsh penalties. And well, let's just say they did that. They had an L1, L2, L3 penalty system, and the penalties were going to be very, very harsh. And they weren't kidding. They weren't bluffing. They handed out its very first penalty, or at least its major penalty system under this new format, to RFK Racing after Atlanta. The Brad Keselowski team number 6 car has been penalized in an L2 infraction by NASCAR. And again, the penalties are huge. 100 driver points gone. 100 owner points also gone. That means that Keselowski, who was 16th in the playoff standings, +1, is now 33rd in points, minus 99. That is an unbelievable drop in points. He is basically now the last person that is a full-time driver. He is the lowest you could ever get as a full-time driver in the point system. Also, crew chief Matt McCall has been suspended for 4 races and also has been fined for $100,000. Now, it has not been, there hasn't been any information on exactly what part of the car was not incorrect, but was penalized for. But it was, I think it was a report from Bob Pockers or Jeff Gluck that says it had something to do with the rear of the car. For modifying a single part that was supplied from an outside source, they modified something with the rear of the car. NASCAR caught it at the R&D center, and boom, they got penalized. And again, that is a huge penalty. But I'm happy that NASCAR did this. Number one, they're consistent. They said, hey, this is what's going to happen if you break the rules, and they follow through with it. So I applaud NASCAR for being consistent and for being dead ass when they said these penalties were going to be harsh and we're going to be serious about it. But man, this has not gone the way that Keselowski wanted it to go, especially consider the fact that so far the 6 team, they've been slow. They've just been off all year long. And to be slow and illegal, you had a part that was illegal and yet you still were slow. That is not good. So, I mean, this is just another, bam, it's like a double whammy to not only have not that good, well, let's be honest, have a sucky season to begin with, and on top of that, you have this L2 infraction to the point where now Keselowski's more than likely going to have to win in order to make it into the playoffs because, well, first, he has to make it to the top 30 in points. Yes, we're now at that moment where he has to make it into the top 30 in points. Because remember, to make the playoffs, you have to win, be in the top 30 in points. He's 33rd now. And he is 34 points below 30th place, which is currently being held by BJ McLeod. On top of that, Keselowski becomes the first driver to receive negative playoff points. That was another thing that I forgot to mention, that they also lose 10 playoff points. Considering he didn't have any to begin with, he now has negative 10 playoff points. So, unbelievable. 33rd points. Now, you're now 33rd in points, you're 34 points below 30th place, you're 149 points below the points lead, 99 points below 16th place, and now you got negative 10 playoff points. I mean, at least a good thing is that this happened early in the season, race 5, race 6. You still got some time left. You got 21 races until the regular season ends. So he's got some time, but man, keep in mind, this is the next gen era now, or Gen 7 car, however you want to call it. The parity is incredible. We're seeing a lot more drivers be competitive. Drivers like Eric Jones, Tyler Reddick, Ross Chastain, Daniel Suarez. I think there was this, I saw the point standings. If you look at the Winston Cup point standings, 1st to 19th or to 20th place were all within 60 points. So any of them could take the race lead after Coda next weekend. The fact that that many drivers are in contention, meaning the competition, I feel like, is going to accelerate 10 times more than it did in years past. So you're going to have much more tougher competition, and you're going to have to deal with a much steeper hill to climb with all these negatives added to your name. and you're not going to have a crew chief, your main guy crew chief, for the next 4 races. Man, it's not good times right now at RFK Racing, but at least the good news is that both cars weren't penalized. Chris Buescher's 17 car, he passed cleanly, but yeah, this is going to be a very tough hill to climb for Brad Keselowski if he wants to have any shot at making the playoffs. He's made every single playoff grid or playoff appearance since 2014. So, but yeah, this is the last thing that Keselowski needed, and they haven't had one good run yet so far in 2022. 5 races in, they've only had one top 10 finish, just one top 10 finish, and have had an average finish of 19. So yeah, this is not good for Brad Keselowski, but hey, you break the rules, you get punished. Simple as that. So I'm glad that NASCAR is consistent finally with its rule for once. But damn! Damn! But yeah, that is going to conclude this episode of Inside the Lines. A bit of a short episode, not much to discuss. I got a lot of schoolwork that I need to take care of, so that's why I haven't done any videos really. No race day videos or no follow-ups regarding Atlanta, but I'm trying to get everything done so I can get back on making videos for you guys. But yeah, thank y'all so much for watching. Again, tell me in the comment section down below what are your thoughts on any of the stories I talked about. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more content. Until next time, my name is Jett from MDK, and I'll see y'all next time.